Welcome to the Wire to Wire podcast. As always, it's me, your host Yusuf. Now this episode is a special one. Not only is it a two-part series, but I'm joined by a very special guest, Justyn Knight. Now Justyn is a three-time NCAA champion, and he is a 2021 Olympian representing Team Canada, and he is also a Canadian record holder in running. In this two-part series, we'll be discussing his upbringing, health and wellness, finances, and life in general. So this is episode 1, and episode 2 will be coming next Friday. Without further ado, let's just get right to it. Welcome to the Wire to Wire podcast, Justyn. It's great to have you on, and I appreciate you joining me, bro.
Thanks for having me. It's always great to have a conversation with you. As I said before, we're good friends, so this is going to be nice just to catch up.
No, definitely. Let's kind of kick things off. Just tell me and the audience your story. What did those early years look like for you growing up, and how did you get started in running?
Oh man, I'll try not to take you too early, but as you know, you probably knew me from before I was even a runner too, but I was a big fan of basketball. Basketball was my true love from the very beginning. I grew up just in a basketball household where my daddy was a well-respected basketball player. When he was in high school, played a little bit in college from when I was 6 years old, 5 years old. Me and my brother grew up playing basketball. That's what we love to do. I grew up with kids like Andrew Wiggins, lived in my neighborhood at one point in time, and a couple of other really
Jeez.
Yeah. Andrew was crazy, man. But it was just weird because he was the first one to dunk at such a young age, and it looked unreal. But that's a story for another day. But from there, I ended up going to high school at St. Michael's College School, or just St. Mike's. Not on scholarship or anything, just got into the school based off of academics. Both me and my brother went there, actually. And I played basketball. I played volleyball at the school. Not going to lie, grades, I think school in general, education, it wasn't something that came easy to me, at least in high school. In elementary school, it was a breeze, but in high school, it was very challenging. I just got average marks, across the board. It didn't matter what it was. Eventually, how I got into running was, believe it or not, I actually had a 68 in gym class, which is absurd. And
yeah.
And I remember I was asking the teacher, his name is Mr. Chitto. I was like, sir, how could I have a 68 in gym class? My football team's doing well. I'm the quarterback. In the basketball unit, I killed it. Badminton, I was pretty decent. The only thing I wasn't really good at was the ice skating unit, or hockey.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me, he's like, well, Justyn, you're a multi-sport athlete here at the school, and I know how talented you are, and based off, or athletic, I guess you can say you are, and based off of your effort, I felt like you're giving the effort that would get you a 68% in gym class. So he felt like I wasn't really trying hard. And then, I told him coach, this is unacceptable. I can't go back to my parents with this grade. Let me know what I can do so that I can improve my grade. And the last unit yet left was actually running. We had to do an annual 5K for the grade 10 students.
Okay.
And from there, I made sure that I was at the front of every class. I made sure I was showing him hey, I'm trying. I'm not just jogging out here. And I ended up breaking the school's grade 10 5K record or something like that. And from there, the whole track season was pretty much done. They only had the championships left. And then they asked me to join the team. And it took my mom some convincing, but she let me. And I guess from there, that's when it all just started.
And what was the moment for you when you realized that you could do this on a professional level?
Man, I think that moment probably came to me in college, actually.
Okay.
It's weird because in high school, I remember I didn't even think I was going to get a scholarship for the NCAA. I was planning on going to York University or, U of T or Ryerson or Mac or, one of those schools. And after grade 11, I think I placed either fifth or sixth at OFSA. And
Okay.
all the kids that placed in front of me were older than me, and they were going to schools like Wisconsin and Iona, Michigan. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all of them. And then
Okay.
yeah, and then like from there, like all these letters started coming in, and like I was getting letters from like Oregon, from Wisconsin as well. You name it, like Syracuse, of course, pretty much any school. Ohio State actually came to like my house for a barbecue that summer. That's where I was like, oh man, cool, I can get a scholarship. And then once I got there, it was almost pretty surreal. I was just like, oh man, I'm on an American team. Like, this is pretty cool. To finish it off, basically to answer the question that you asked, like my sophomore year, I got fourth at NCAA's. And at that moment, I realized like, hey, I'm here to stay and I'm not going anywhere. And this is like just the beginning of something really special.
Yeah. You ended up going to Syracuse. You're a proud Orangeman alumni.
Yep.
And I actually like Syracuse. Carmelo Anthony, he's one of my favorite athletes. You know, he went there and he won the national championship in 2003. I think they named a stadium or a gym after him at Syracuse too.
Play a lot of basketball in there, trust me.
Yeah. So what was it about Syracuse that made you choose them? And what does it mean to you to be a part of that school's history?
The whole recruiting process was very tough. You know, you have all these coaches, all these schools that want you and convincing you why, you know, to go to their school and why it's the best fit for you. It was very hard. It was a hard decision for me because I met so many great people, so many great coaches and athletes. And at the end of the day, like what kind of pushed me more towards Syracuse was just, I felt there was a couple of things actually. I'll touch on each point.
Okay.
One, you know, Syracuse was close enough and far enough from home for me where, you know, I'm a huge family man. I love every family member I have, my brother, my dad, my mom. And I wanted to attend a school where, you know, I'm far enough so I can be independent, but at the same time, like if I needed my family, that, you know, I can kind of go home whenever I wanted to. And Syracuse fit that because it's only 4 hours away. The other thing that, you know, kind of led me towards choosing Syracuse was that, you know, I come from a family where education is very valued. And the fact that Syracuse University is respected and well known on both sides of the border played a huge role on where I was going to commit to, just because at that point in my life, being a senior in high school, grade 12, I didn't know if I was going to stay in America or if I was going to come back to Canada. But at the end of the day, I knew that I needed a degree that was going to be respected on both sides of the border. So that was another reason. And then I think at the end of the day, like in terms of athletics, the coaches and my teammates, they kind of made it feel like a second home for me, where the coaches, they seemed like they cared for me more than just like an athlete. So like they wanted to see me succeed in all areas of life and see me grow. So that meant a lot to me. My teammates, I found them to be like a great support system for me. We clicked immediately. And the last thing too, like Syracuse, we didn't really have the rich running history that like a lot of these other schools that were talking to me had, or at least recently. And what happened there, like I was looking at basically like how the program has developed since the head coach has got there. And since he got there, like every year, like we went from like not making NCAAs to like qualifying for regionals to placing 20th at NCAAs to 15th to 10th. And what that kind of showed me is like with the average recruits that he was getting, that he was able to turn that program into a respectable team. And from there, I just wondered, like, you know, if he got his 5-star recruit being me, I wonder what he can do with my talent. And he proved me right. I had a lot of faith in him. That's all I can say.
Yeah. Well, definitely. I think, if I'm not mistaken, you're a 2-time NCAA champion, right?
So technically 3, actually. So
explain the technical part.
I'm a 2-time individual NCAA champion. So I was the first person to cross the line.
Okay.
And then in cross country, our team won back in 2015, which was very special. And people always ask me, they're like, "Oh, what's like your most memorable moment in college?" And people are always surprised that I don't pick like one of my individual championships. But the way I see it is like when you're able to celebrate anything with a group of people, especially like a group of people that you worked hard and like you struggled with and everything, and all those hardworking hours that we put into running, and you're able to like celebrate that at the end of the season. That was like so heartwarming. It beats celebrating anything as an individual to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine, because when you're in school, you're not really a professional yet, right?
No.
So it's like you're with people who are in the same boat as you. You guys are competing. You know, together. You guys all have this dream and this goal that you want to accomplish.
Yeah.
So when you accomplish it together in college, it's not like professionals where there's a business side of things.
Exactly. You don't have to worry about
this. It's just
people's contract renewed and everything. You know what I mean?
Exactly. This is just about chasing that goal, chasing that dream, and doing it together.
Exactly.
So it really tightens that camaraderie, bro. So I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But in your answer, you mentioned your family, the importance that they play, right?
Yeah.
In your everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
So I know your brother personally. You know, he's a great guy. He's incredibly smart.
Yeah,
Shout out to him.
Shout out to Jared.
And I know you come from a good, hardworking family. So when you think about your life and everything you've accomplished so far, you know, what role would you say your family, what would you say they play in that success?
You know, my family, I think I owe all my success to them, to be brutally honest. Like, and there's no secret in that. Like, I feel like a lot of people that know me at the end of the day, like, know that I'm very thankful. Even you said it, like, for my family. My mom, my dad, my brother have done everything for me just in terms of making sure that I stay on the right track and that I make the best decision that will benefit myself in the present and the future. In terms of like when I was getting recruited for school in college and stuff, you know, that was my mom and my dad that they came with me on every visit. A lot of kids, they kind of exclude their parents. Like, I don't know if they just want to have like the greatest recruiting visit ever. You know, you know what I mean? And just kind of do their thing. But, you know, my parents played a huge part in my recruiting trips, but like they weren't overwhelming. Like they were there in the background, just looking out for the stuff that I wasn't looking out for. Like they were kind of in the background and stuff, just like taking notes of the stuff that like I might not notice, so I can enjoy myself and like see if I like the team and everything. Yeah, and just in life in general, like they've helped me through so much stuff. You know, nobody's perfect, so like my parents, like they've done a lot of stuff to be successful, but then they've also made some mistakes too. And I'm the type of person where I'm not too prideful. Like I don't want to experience everything on my own and like make my own mistakes. So like, if I know I can get advice from somebody, I'll always reach out to that person to see like if I can change something so that I don't make the same mistakes they did. And I feel like my parents play like a crucial role in that. In terms of my brother, you know, that guy's my best friend. He's like, you know, he's like my guardian angel, literally. It's like, when I went to school, like he always made sure nobody messed around with me. Like he was literally like kind of like my muscle. And I had like a pretty easy adjustment to high school just because, you know, everybody knew Jared was my brother and he was a respectable guy and they didn't mess around with me. So I'm just always thankful for Jared. He showed me patience and kind of just like always showing me like right from wrong and stuff like that. So yeah, I got a lot of love for my brother and my mom and my dad.
Yeah. That sounds like it. It's a blessing, bro.
It's truly a blessing. Like, truly a blessing.
So let's fast forward to now. You're a professional runner. What does the grind and the everyday life entail? So I'm talking more like the day-to-day aspects. So, you know, the training, the recovery, and the work that goes on behind the scenes for you to be at your best when you're out there performing.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like my life was a little bit more interesting in college, but
everyone's was, bro.
Yeah, for real. But you know, my life is pretty calm. I'm not gonna lie. Like, especially during COVID times, like I'm more and more like to myself, personal. Like I don't really do much from the day-to-day standpoint. Like I wake up at like 7:00, 7:15 every morning. make sure I'm prepared for practice at 9 o'clock. And being prepared, I make sure I eat. I make sure I do all my stuff in the morning. Roll out. I do a little bit of stretching. Head to practice at 9. Do my workout. Then after that, I'll do like a core session, which is just core exercises. I don't lift weights or anything.
Yeah.
And then once a week on Wednesdays. So Wednesdays are my favorite days, just because I get a massage every Wednesday. Which I love massages, man. They're great. I highly recommend.
Yeah, you need those, bro.
Yeah,
those are a must.
Yeah, and I try to see a physio, like, honestly, usually every other week or every 3 weeks. I'm the type of person where it's like, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But at the same time, I'll do a lot of stuff to make sure that I don't get injured. So I'll see a physio I'll have nothing wrong with me, but I'll just go in just to get checked up on and make sure everything's moving properly. And and then usually I practice twice a day. So at 5 o'clock, I'll just go out for a run for 20 minutes, come back. And then, the rest of the day is just make sure the house is clean, maybe play some FIFA with my brother, read a little bit. That's just my day. That's my, at least during COVID, that's my schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For your line of work, like, the focus is mostly speed and quickness.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie, like, other runners actually do lift weights, but my program at Syracuse, because I have the same coach that I did in college, and we never did weights, so I never got to explore that.
Yeah.
The main focus of our workouts is, like, we do a lot of hill repeats, we do a lot of speed stuff on the track. What we'll do, the endurance aspect would be called like tempo workouts, and then like sometimes we'll do like 800s, 200s, 600s on the track and stuff like that, of that nature.
Yeah.
And then like the core aspect of it is just like to make sure that like we keep our body toned. We keep like not a healthy figure, but like just to make sure that like we don't, we maintain our fitness level, I guess you can say. And like our muscles that support us when we're running are strong. So like we'll do like those exercises on the side. But like the main focus of our training is like definitely through those hill repeats and those track sessions.
Sounds intensive, bro.
Dude, there's sometimes like it's not like basketball. Like that's the crazy thing, where the one thing I dislike about track is like it's not like basketball or soccer or hockey where you're bored, it's 8 p.m. You can just go into your gym or like just put up shots or something like that. Like I run when it's time to practice, and then after that, like if I'm bored and even if I want to go run, I won't run because it might mess up your training down the line. So I can't do my sport for fun, essentially. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's crazy. I did not know that.
Yeah, man. And we'll plug in miles too. Like I do. Sorry, I use miles just because like I train in the States, but like I'll do like
makes sense.
75. The highest I've gone is like 80 miles a week. So you get some good training in, like it's it's pretty good sometimes.
And because you're mentioning that, right?
Yeah.
With the training and the amount of miles you're running per week. Like, what adjustments did you have to make, from either a mental or a physical standpoint to be able to make that adjustment to being a professional?
The one thing about me is like I always worked as if I didn't know. It sounds bad, but like I would work as if like after my years of college, like I didn't know where my next meal was coming from. I mean, being a professional, I'm not going to lie. Like when I first became a pro, I didn't have a good showing at all. Like, to be honest, my first race as a pro, I got dead last and ran slower than like I did in college, like my freshman year of college. So like I got worked on like a pretty world stage where like the race was being broadcasted on television. The reason for that was because mentally I wasn't there. Physically, I was overweight. I was 20 pounds heavier than I ever was in my life. which it felt like I was running with weights in my hands, just to put that in perspective.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
yeah, it was very difficult just to adjust to like the pro life. As a runner, it's a lot more individual. You have a lot more responsibilities that you own rather than like when I was in college,
Mm-hmm.
I always had people reminding me. I had like a whole training room staff like catering to me all the time. And like a huge support system, whereas like as a pro, it's very different. Like you have to be the one that says, hey, I need to get treatment, let me schedule that, or like, hey, you should be doing your core. Like, even though like you guys didn't meet up as a team today, like you got to make sure that you still do your core exercises and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of other stuff, like some stuff that I don't even want to talk about. But mentally, it took a toll on me, and then I ended up, not doing the stuff that I should have been doing to make sure that I was
Mm-hmm.
a great runner. And
Yeah.
from that race, that was the moment that I realized, like, you're not a loser. Like, this is not you. Justyn Knight has
Mm-hmm.
never been the person to get dead last in a race and run at the time that I
Mm-hmm.
ran. And
Mm-hmm.
from that moment, like a switch went off in my head where I just knew I had to get down to business.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I had to figure out what I was doing in college to make myself successful and make those adjustments. And I knew I
Yeah.
had to hold myself accountable. And I got back to that mental mind frame of like, you don't know where your next meal is
Yeah.
coming from. Like, you got to work. Like, this is like your last chance. And I was fortunate enough to bounce back and then still place like top 10 in the world that year.
Yeah.
You can be in, and I've seen it with a lot of my friends that, that I compete against, some people that I know personally and stuff like that. And some of them are in like the best shape of their life, but mentally they're checking out. Like
Yeah.
you can throw yourself off mentally, and you will not perform the way that you're working out just
Yeah.
based off of your
So
mental.
yeah. So I'm glad, you're bringing this up because I think, this is a very important topic, right?
Yeah.
So for you mentally, what are some of the things that you do in your life to help you stay focused, to keep you locked in, and to make sure that you're not getting distracted?
One thing that I try to do is I try to write some goals down. And it's not like something that I put on a calendar, like an everyday thing, but like I have goals for the year, for the season, I guess you can say. And
Mm-hmm.
I'll write them down and I'll keep them on my fridge or something like that, or in an area where I can just read them casually so they don't
Mm-hmm.
get lost.
Yeah.
What that does is like, even on those days where it's like it's cold or it's rainy or like I feel beat up or I just don't feel like doing it. You know what I mean? I look at that
Yeah.
list that I wrote of goals and aspirations, and I think to myself, like, no, you know what you got to do to accomplish your goals. So you got
Mm-hmm.
to, even though you don't have to do it or like nobody's watching, you can get away with not going out and doing your second run, whatever it is, or like,
Yeah.
can go eat like Chick-fil-A for like 3 weeks in a row. That was a problem that I had to.
Yeah.
But I don't do that stuff. Like those goals that I write down help me remember like why I'm here, what my purpose is. Mentally, I feel like I always I just try to be honest with myself. Like I try to make sure I don't get burnt out. I try to listen to my
Yeah.
body. Um, After running, I think like it's very good to distract yourself. Like I don't just focus on like competition all the time. I think like once I do the stuff I need to do to be great, like after training and stuff, putting the work in, recovery and everything, I think it's actually
Mm-hmm.
good to take a step back from running and just like do something you enjoy. Like I'm a big movie guy, so like I love watching movies, or FaceTiming my friends is a big thing that I've been into right now. So it's just like the little stuff like that that makes me feel, um, I guess, fulfilled in life. Where, yeah, I mean that
Yeah.
stuff is just so little. Like those are like little small examples. It's hard for me to kind of figure out what I do because it sometimes changes, but you got to make sure that you keep a balance, I guess you can say, and not burn
Yeah.
yourself out on one end.
And I think everything that you just touched on right now is very important. And it's definitely a message that I talk about a lot, even on this podcast too, about just that self-awareness. Like,
Yeah.
you have to know, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, and you're an athlete especially, so you'll know that sometimes your body will tell you certain things. You just have to really listen to it and pick up on it, right?
Exactly.
I think the real challenge is those days when you don't feel like doing it. I think that's where the growth comes in. Okay, I don't feel like doing this, and I have every reason to not do it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna do it anyways.
Exactly.
I think that's where the gains and that's where the growth comes in.
And
because now you're forcing yourself not to succumb.
Yeah.
So I guess your lower self.
Exactly.
If that makes sense.
And honestly, like I had this conversation with someone else that was interviewing me, and I told them, like, the hardest part about anything in life, like whether it's sports or whatever, is just getting started. You will be working yourself up and like nervous or what have you. And like the hardest part is just getting started. But that moment that you just go out and do what you're supposed to do, or you have to do, once you actually get started, it only goes up from there. And like, it's something that anybody can relate to. Like, the winters in Canada are, they suck. And and when I'm home for Christmas break and everything, I run outside. I don't run on a treadmill or anything. And for me, like, I wake up sometimes I wake up at 6:30, sometimes I wake up at 7. Either way, I just wake up in the morning, and it's so hard for me. Like, I look out the window and I'm like, it snowed again. And it sucks because, like, it's cold outside. It's sometimes wet. I don't feel like going out there and slipping around in the snow because, like, nobody shoveled yet. But I know at the end of the day, like, I got to go get this work done. And you can either drag it out and, like, wake up and then start running at 9, or you can just get out the door right now and just get it over with. And like, I feel like that mentality has helped me so much this year to just continue to grow into the person I am right now.
Thank you guys for listening to part 1. Part 2 will be coming next week. As always, be sure to listen, share, and subscribe. Till next time.